Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, collective, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Ignite Your Soul, Emerging to World. Good morning for me, 6:55, 55. So you might be a life path 5. Um, there's a lot of energy coming through for the feminine collective. So take what resonates. Doesn't mean if you're masculine, this message ain't for you. Okay. So just put it where it fits. So right now, what I'm feeling is, again, women collective energy. When you were a small child, you might recognize this now. However, you haven't always, and it's just coming to the surface for you to basically accept and move forward with your life. Um, However, this collective that I'm channeling, when you were younger, um, you unconsciously started to believe, because you knew things, you could feel things, you could sense things um, in your environment with what people were talking about, so what you could hear. Okay. um, and you knew you could feel things and hear things, and you were really connected to um, your inner child and your imagination. However, oh, and for some of you, you used to, because of this, which I'm going to get into, well, we'll just say that first. You didn't know exactly what it was, what you were feeling, how you knew things, yet you did. Okay. And you would go to your parents or your elders, and you would explain these feelings and stuff um, that you were experiencing. But because they didn't know, and they lived in a different paradigm, um, you you became a caretaker. So what you were taught was you needed to carry everything. You needed to carry other people's emotions. You needed to be the people pleaser, the peacemaker, you name it. So this collective that I'm channeling this message for is, um, it's okay. You don't have to carry it anymore. It's time to let it go and live your own life and become aware of um, even the thoughts. Okay. Um, it's like you had a dream. You were really young, and you knew that knowing and that feeling, and be able to be a really good observer when you're a kid. And all kids can do this, by the way. Because as someone who has also experienced this, you probably can hear traffic, but it's not even daylight out yet, and I'm here. I hope you got a coffee or a tea or whatever you're drinking. But you're realizing right now that you have not been able to be true to yourself and be true to them aspirations and them dreams that you had. Um, some of you might have also had a specific, like, superhero. Okay. Like mine was Wonder Woman. Loved it. Um, I loved the way she dressed. I loved the way she looked. I loved the way um, she would help people and save. She was there to save the world. Okay. So this is what I mean about the unconscious. And then we have the other collective of women. All right. And I'll just call you divine feminine because that's what you are to me. I love you. And you would watch the fairy tales like the Beauty and the Beast or, whatever they are for you. Um, the princess, Cinderella. Okay. So, and this had to do with your love story. Amazing. I love to tell stories. But so because that, you were on a search. You were on, well, when we talk about love, you were on a search because what you grew up in, um, it was kind of dysfunctional and you knew it, you could feel it. Um, Communication between the siblings, the parents, all of it. Anyways, not their fault. It's just the era and evolution and how it all works. So, anyways, with you having these unconscious desires and dreams, everybody thought you were crazy growing up. And what was actually happening was in your subconscious, this inner child, the imagination station, you really believed it, right? That you would have this Prince Charming and he would come and take you away and you'd be living happily ever after. Well, that was for you to begin to understand um, what love was. Okay. But your early preconceived perspective and perception of love was a fairy tale. And I'm not saying it can't come true. There is, uh, however you do it, a divine masculine or a divine feminine, vice versa. Take what resonates, no gender based. But there is that divine partner or life soulmate, right? If you can't make it with your divine partner, it's because they're still in the ego death process. Anyhow, you already went through this ego death. You already realize that love is not linear and it is not fit to one specific person or an ideal person like the fairy tale. But the Wonder Woman now, that was my favorite. That's why I thought, oh man, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to take the whole weight of the world. I'm going to save the women, the children. Yeah. Anyways, come to realize right now that the dysfunction, the patterning, the habitual way of thinking, feeling, or reacting to your environment kind of effed up your nervous system, so to speak. Let's just say. But now you're starting to settle, and some of you are even meditating and starting to become more self-aware of, how about I just stop chasing and become the very energetic match to whatever. So whether that being love, money, relationship dynamics in general. Um, it all begins here in that true self space. Okay. You being true to you. So, what life has caused you to experience was um, multiple relationships. Okay. Whether it's masculine or feminine, works both ways. Um, you, because of this unconscious fear of love or um, unworthiness or um, just use your imagination. You still have it. Okay. Connect to that very first preconceived perception of what love um, looked like. Okay. Um, the things you heard, the things you've seen, they were all really distorted perspectives. Because really, you were born from unconditional love and you were meant to experience that. It's not an accident that um, because of your, you can call it toxic environment or dysfunctional environment, family unit, whatever, whoever raised you and was your mentor, so to speak, or maybe you didn't have a mentor and you had to figure it all out by yourself. Um, I'm the one that had to figure it out by myself. So it wasn't an illusion that I liked um, Cinderella and that one day I would be swept off my feet by this Prince Charming, right? Um, I think we've all grown to know and learn and evolved as the new, what the new divine feminine looks like, right? And feels like. And being true to yourself now is what matters. So, all that stuff that you've been carrying, the emotional weight of others, the physical weight of others, you've now come to realize how to carry it in a balanced way. Okay. And I have some videos that will teach you about the divine masculine and feminine energy and how it's within self. So it's always been you. It's always been about you and your preconceived perspective of what love looked like. Or, but you knew, you still knew, you had this feeling and you were really observant. And most kids are. And this is why it's important nowadays with our children. Like when we have an adult conversation or conflict, we want to do that not in front of them. It's not to hide um, stuff, but sometimes we can be pretty harsh. And that's teaching them, like, that's what love is. That is the only way. And you learn that. Okay. So most of your relationships were, you weren't broken, but there was mirrors in all your relationships to bring you back home to the self. It wasn't the divine intention for you to take it so seriously. So for some of you that are still carrying this ache and pain, the soul is calling it to the surface for you to let go and be okay with who you are. See yourself like the source sees you, has always seen you, never judged you. You know, you are your biggest critic. And you also learned how to create an inner dialogue um, that was only doing more harm than good. So your reflection, let's say you have a mirror and you wake up in the morning because your hair is a mess. So what? Doesn't mean you're ugly, doesn't mean you're pretty, just means this is my now moment. So what are you going to do next? But when it came to love, all these relationships came into your life as a teacher. Like, what parts of yourself can you see, being mirrored back that are part of the shadow aspects, like the pain, the trauma, all that stuff that you stuffed down and you just went on with life. Like, I'm just here to live and die. An attitude. You're right. We all leave and we are all meant to live. And there's not one purpose. There's not one passion inside you. There's many. There's multiple. So what I want to invite you to soften, okay? Not take all life so seriously, especially when it comes to your past relationships, the ones that were brutal, that left scarring mentally, emotionally, physical abuse, sexual abuse, whatever it is. It was definitely to bring you home right now in this time, space, and dimension on planet Earth. You don't remember, but before you came and before you incarnated, you said to source energy as an observer looking from your star down here, I really think that would be a cool place to go experience self. Who knew? And because of this veil of illusion, now the veil is being lifted for a collective that resonates. I am lifting that veil right now. You never had to change anything about you. You only had to see who you were as yourself, as your dreams, your desires. And there's no one to blame. They just were lacking the knowledge and the information about transformation. And transformation is so much fun when you do it consciously and deliberately. You might still be doing it unconsciously. So you're still experiencing these teachers. And I'm not saying even if you get your Prince Charming, there isn't going to be some challenges, some just not as hard. There's always room. There needs to be always room and growth and evolution to expand. So I invite you, does your current relationship perspective, does it serve you mentally? Okay. Is there incompatibility, indifferences? Okay. Not saying it's toxic. Can be when there's abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, um, emotional neglect. Okay. You all experienced this in your environment as a child. So that became your attachment type and style of masculinity. Okay, it was distorted regardless. Um, so as you can see nowadays, the women, the divine feminine is awakening to her true essence, her true divine self. And it doesn't really have nothing to do with someone outside of you except for the perspective that you're learning that don't fit. So if it's a relationship, work, career, your money, your finances, whatever it is, look at that. Love it. Because in the end, and there really, it doesn't never end, but in the end result, when you become self aware of how you abandoned yourself, maybe it's for your family, you know, um, because you were the people pleaser and the caregiver and you wanted to save everybody and help everybody. You can't do that. You've done it. It's nearly killed you. It's depleted you. Some of you have actually went through illnesses and health issues because of it. And this is where you might be unaware of how much you let go of that passion of, and some of you, it is your purpose to just be and to create and break generational curses, they call them. It was definitely felt like a curse at first, but now it doesn't. That's pretty cool. But there has, that's the message for a feminine collective. If you haven't yet taken your power back, and this isn't in a malicious way or to become more powerful and rule the world, it is for you. It is a gift for you from me and my wise self, my inner being, my God self, my holy grail. Okay? It is a gift from me to you to become more aware of number one, why you stay past the out date, right? And how much will you actually continue to tolerate and put yourself through, which, by the way, Jesus is saying, it's done. Most of you, it's done. It's time to take your power back. Give the burden to me. So whatever burden that you are carrying, you're not alone. And that's why I turn my pain into passion. And now it's more of a mission. It's bigger than I even could have imagined. But yeah, so you gave so much of yourself to everybody else, and they knew, not everybody, but most of them knew that you would be the one to run the errand. You would be the one to cook for the family. You would be the one to do whatever. You are the people pleaser. You're the one that, and they took your kindness as a weakness. There is a lesson in that for everyone. Because now you're not available the way you used to be. You are deliberately and consciously focused on being your own creator and in creation. Taking back your energy, cord cutting. Stay soft though. I'm going to do a video on dysfunctional family and why that is there and how that is a contract for your dharma. Okay. It's a contract. And that's the other thing. You're cutting and clearing soul contracts from past lives. And you might not be aware of that. Or you might be. So, let's see. So, yeah, most of your love life relationships were there because you felt broken and you felt like you need to seek love. And every time you did that, the opposite attracted. So this is why opposites attract, okay? And not everything is always like the labels we put, good or bad. They are a divine extension of source. And it is a gift. You can look at it as a gift. You can look at it, embrace the love, embrace the lesson, embrace the challenges, and grow and evolve in yourself. Just be true to yourself. And don't share everything about your life with others because there's people that know who you are and know that you are a divine being carrying more light now. But it's balanced. So there comes a warning with doing personal development and the self-love and self-care. Because when you come into your full essence of the divine, and you'll know when you look in the mirror, because you will see yourself the way God sees you, the way the divine universe, whatever it is to you. So when you hear this video or you see this video, you manifest it because this is a stage that source wants you at. This is the paradigm, the energy shift. Oh, and by the way, the eclipse energy right now is use it. It's fire horse energy, but with balance. Like you're going to feel tired where you need more rest, and then you're going to feel like you need to take action. So you just need to balance that out and stay in alignment, stay in your own mind. Okay. I want to really declare that to the universe right now that this is a healing video, a healing message for a woman collective that resonates. And let it bring you more peace. Let it help you release, oh my God, release so much. And I want to say, emotional baggage that you've been carrying because you want to help everybody, you want to save everybody, you want to caretake everybody. Well, they got their own stuff to learn and their own baggage to carry. And that's the message today. That is the divine download being channeled from my wise self, divine self. And please, remember who you are. You matter. You matter. Everybody else matters too. I don't say that they don't. Because, and I want to tell all of you, divine feminine, divine masculine, whatever, that you have a choice because energy is omnipresent and you can embody any divine benevolent being's energy to get you through the day, the moment, whatever. So let's say my intention is to embody more grace, more unconditional love. Who would that be? The Divine Mother, right? Divine love, divine truth. So we don't have to seek anymore. All we have to know is with this awareness, you are the most important person in your life. And without you, you can't help anybody else. Because what it's going to do is cause a ripple effect. And you don't have to make the shift loud. You can have silent boundaries, and forgiveness, by all means, is not to forgive someone who's hurt you in the past, intentionally or consciously, okay, of any abuse. That's dealt with in divine's timing and way. So yes, karma is real and dharma is real. So if you want to know more about your dharma, maybe you're still experiencing karma, let me know in the comments what stage of evolution you're awakening. Can you hear your calling? Can you feel that passion, that purpose that was given only to you? And there's not just one. So I'm checking in. If you're having any difficulty, and you will feel this in your solar plexus above your belly button. Any power struggle at all with wanting more or asking source for help or your guides, your angels, myself, please reach out. You're not alone. Everybody's story is not going to be the same. Some of you experience just mental illness. Some of you have overwhelmed and you're overworked and you're looking for a new direction in life. Transitions. Nobody really taught us to take that next step with clarity and confidence. We just take it and we find out Well, that didn't work. That door's shut, so we feel like a failure. And we didn't fail because we keep getting back up. You have to remember that. The moment you sit down, there's still momentum you're creating because you're not done yet. You can never get it done in this lifetime. Sure, some of you will return and be back to play out the same game. Some of you will choose not to. Okay, so I'm not pulling any cards. I think that was good enough. You're good enough. You are amazing. You are a divine being in a human experience. And that's what it is. You get to choose your experience. So choose wisely. I love you guys. Bye for now.